Hello, can anybody hear me? As the stars were replaced by the sun, and the silence became city noise, I decided I should probably do something other than just lay here. The people of Sapphire City were starting to wake up. Yes, Sapphire City. That's what this place is called. I read it on the signs, you see, pretty much everywhere. Every road into the city has a giant billboard stretched across it. Welcome to Sapphire City. We hope you enjoy your stay. And then, in small letters, on the back of the board, letters you can only read when you're leaving, someone has written, "Don't touch the moon," which would be kind of normal if they had a moon. I asked some masks about it. Well, I asked two masks about it. I never caught their names, but what I did discover is you need a mask to even exist here. Both masks I talked to resembled a man. First ignored my question and asked about my mask. I figured he wouldn't talk to me unless I had one. Otherwise, why ask? So I lied. Said it was there, just not visible, because I painted it. Some masks do that, pretend they're human. Then not only their mask is painted, but their whole appearance. They become the closest thing to human possible. I doubt he believed me, but he asked me to repeat the question anyway. I did, and he got quiet. Like it wasn't the first time he'd heard someone ask about the moon. Eventually, when I thought the man wouldn't answer, he stood up and gestured for me to follow. I did, and he seemed surprised. He brought me to a mask standing in the corner. His mask wasn't decorated like the rest. It was pure black, matte, featureless. Without saying a word, the black mask pressed his fingers into my face to find no mask, just flesh. The fact that he didn't seem surprised made me wonder how often they'd had us here. The city clearly loves tourists, otherwise they wouldn't put those billboards at every entrance. Apparently, they just don't love human tourists, because the mask started dragging me out of the mall. I asked him what was wrong. He said only those wearing masks are allowed inside. And the way he said inside, it was clear he didn't just mean the mall. He meant every inside, from the tallest building to the bus stop. I asked him about the moon. He just mumbled something about crazy humans. Then he threw me into the back alley, behind the building, and slammed the door shut. Now you're probably wondering why I'm telling you all this. Because I learned literally nothing about the moon. Well, it's mostly because of what happened right after. I fell. Not gracefully, not like some poetic collapse into a tragic heap. I just hit the ground. My face pressed into dirt, dry, bitter, grainy. It got into my mouth. I spat it out, cursing the taste of this planet, like it had done something to me personally. And then, something blocked the sun. All the light around me was replaced by a person-shaped shadow. When I looked up, there was a girl, a figure standing over me. She had dark curly hair like a crown, messy, wild, real. She held a mask in her hand, bright colors, orange, yellow, red. It screamed summer. She was beautiful, but not in that glassy, painted way like the others. She was human, like an actual human being. I opened my mouth to say something, but no sound came out. She smiled and held out a hand. "I'm a sunflower," she said. Her voice was warm, like her skin, a deep, earthy brown. I know voices don't have colors, but somehow hers did. She helped me up and asked if I was okay. But all I could think was, there's another human standing in front of me. And all I could do was stare with my mouth slightly open. Once I realized, I, of course, shut it. But it was too late to not look like an idiot. Not that eating the floor wasn't already stupid. I guess I was just adding to the list. Eventually, I mumbled something about being all good. She gave a soft laugh and asked, "What got you thrown out of the mall like that? Usually cops have better things to do." "Apparently not this one," I muttered, brushing leaves out of my hair. I told her I'd asked them about the moon. She looked at me, worried. When I told her about the billboard, she laughed, like it all made sense now. She said it didn't mean anything. You could find those words in lots of places. They just get erased a lot and rewritten somewhere else. She pointed at the white painted walls around the alley. "There used to be art here," she said. "But if it doesn't follow the city's rules, they cover it. Sometimes it gets painted over so quickly, nobody even sees the original." Once I'd finally gotten the dirt out of my hair, we started walking. She offered to buy me a mask. She told me the mask who threw me out was a cop. Black masks are cops. She also said this place, Sapphire City, is well known in nearby space. A giant trade route, a vacation destination, because of its lovely environment. Then, in a quiet, mysterious voice, she added, "Or at least, that's what they want you to believe." Before I could even ask what she meant, she stopped abruptly. I bumped into her. Another stupid thing to add to the list. I looked up at the shop towering over us. The hand-painted letters on the wooden board read, "Aster's Masks." The shop had red bricks and old windows with paint peeling off. It looked like any old building on Earth, which made it stand out, surrounded by tall white towers of glass and sleek architecture. As we walked in, a little bell rang, and I half expected the human behind the counter, but the mask was standing there. Sunflower called him Aster. His mask was pastel purple and so thin you could almost see through it. Black lines were drawn around the eye holes like eyeliner. Leaves covered the sides. His nails were the same soft purple, and his clothes were gemstone colored. He stood out from the others. Sunflower introduced me. Aster immediately started rambling about the brown specks on my shirt, saying it made me look alive. I awkwardly told him I fell. Sunflower took over, describing it in color and sound. Then she turned to me. "I forgot to ask your name. How rude of me." She said it in an over-exaggerated, dramatic tone, like she was half performing for the room. I introduced myself as stargazing. All I got was a, "Hey, that's not a plant," from Sunflower, and the muttered, "Calling you starling. Stargazing's way too long," from Aster. All I managed to say to that was, "Wait, what?" before Sunflower cut me off. She started talking about how I obviously need the mask, but was probably broke, so she'd help her fellow human out. Aster laughed and told me to look around. I did. The shop was overwhelming. Masks of every material, porcelain, clay, fabric, wool. You could even order a custom one. But only one stood out to me. A wooden mask. Deep brown, so rich it felt like the wood was still alive. Oval, smooth eye holes. No nose, no mouth. None of them had those. Yet somehow, everyone who wore the masks did. I asked Aster about it. He told me, they adapt to your face. I stared at the mask for a few seconds, then carefully picked it up. The wood felt cool in my hands. I turned it over, but saw nothing. No straps, no hooks. When I looked up, Sunflower had already paid. They were both watching me. I didn't know why she was helping me other than the fact that we were both human, but I didn't ask. I turned the mask the right way, brought it to my face, and let go. A small bump from my nose began to form, shaping into the wood. Aside from that, nothing changed. It was weightless. I couldn't even feel it. For a moment, I wondered if it was even there. When I looked into the mirror, my reflection stared back at me, wearing the deep brown mask.